Hello, welcome to the third episode of Fish TV. I'm Phil Wilkes, this is Dr. Duncan Warning.
Hello.
Together we're the founders of 14 Fish. Duncan, what have you been up to recently? Did you do anything at the weekend?
You may
Go for a jog or anything? You like that sort of thing?
Yes. I'm a bit fatigued, so not my normal bouncy self perhaps today, because I did a run from Windsor to Petersfield, 100 miles, yes, it was
100 miles?
A little far.
Right.
No stopping, no.
Excellent.
Apart from quick bite to eat.
Well done.
Thank you.
Quite an achievement. Wimbledon's happening at the moment, so we thought we'd do a bit of a Wimbledon-themed episode. And we've also had our first video question, which we're very excited about.
Very exciting.
And it's coming from Sian at locumorganiser.org. So Liz is here. She's going to serve up I
think it might be locumorganiser.com, but we'll link to it so you can know. Oh, look at that. Lovely. Thank you.
Let's hear the question.
Hello Duncan and Phil, my name is Sian Mew and I'm a Locum GP and I also run Locum Organiser alongside my husband Chris. Locum Organiser is basically a set of online tools for Locum GPs, which, as the name would suggest, helps them with their admin. And can also help them find work if they wish. My question to you is, do you have any advice that's specific to Locum GPs with regards to appraisal, obviously? Because I think as a Locum GP it's really hard to do certain aspects of appraisal, such as 360-degree colleague feedback, patient feedback, and significant events, just to name a few. It's also harder to follow up on interesting cases. And do you have any handy hints or ideas up your sleeve as to how us locums can go about doing these things a little easier? Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you very much, Sian. That was fantastic. And Duncan, you used to be a locum when you were a GP, didn't you, for a short while?
I was a GP partner for 5 years, and then actually when I went to work at Wessex LMC, started to work as a locum. So quite often when you finish your GP training, you start as a locum.
Okay.
And it was quite scary, actually, having been a sort of GP partner and then going to a GP locum, because there are different things you have to get used to, like you have to arrange all your own finances, you do your own invoices and pension forms.
Yeah.
So the Locum Organiser site's definitely worth a look, that Sian mentioned. Helps you with all of that. 3-month free trial, and they've just rebranded the website.
Yeah, it looks very nice, actually. I had a little look myself. Very sharp.
So we thought we would do this theme on locums and the challenges that locums have when for their revalidation, for their appraisal and supporting information. That's not. Please don't walk away now if you're not a locum, because we hope lots of the tips will be applicable. And actually, as always, we like to apply these tips we think will apply to nurses as well as doctors. But specifically, we're sort of starting. The context is from Sian's question for GP locums. The first thing I think that locums struggle with is getting the feedback for revalidation. So the important thing is obviously using for doctors, a GMC recognised tool that meets the GMC criteria. For nurses, it's actually just gaining any feedback. And that's obviously more difficult when you're not based in one particular location. You vary in different locations week to week, but it doesn't mean you can't get feedback. A lot of the tools enable you to, so for the colleague questions, it doesn't have to be all clinical doctors, so that's worth remembering. You can ask receptionists, because often as a locum you have quite a lot of interaction with receptionists. I remember when you first arrive, it's the receptionists who you sort of go to and are your best friends. Nurses, other GPs if you chat to, and it doesn't all have to be in one location.
Okay.
And sometimes it's recognised that the colleague feedback's going to take a bit longer as a locum. It's certainly recognised that locums have extra challenges in gaining all this information for revalidation.
And it's 15
for doctors, the GMC recommends 15 colleagues. Now, it is recognised that actually for locums and some doctors in different circumstances, they can't always get those minimum numbers.
Yeah.
So it may be that you actually don't need the 15, or in fact 12 is the sort of bare minimum that's nationally recognised, really. But
check with your appraiser.
You've got it, mister. You've got it. You've been working in this area, I can tell. That we always recommend check with your appraiser, check with your designated body, because we'd hate for someone to have to go through the whole process, repeat it again afterwards. Sure. But normally it's as long as you've reflected and described why you haven't got the maximum, why you've got a reduced number, then that's accepted. Patient feedback can be quite difficult, and some doctors, locums, just working out of hours. And some only do telephone triage, or they might only do home visits.
Okay.
So much more difficult to hand out patient feedback forms. But some doctors have got around that, or nurses, by handing out self-addressed the questionnaires in self-addressed stamped addressed envelopes.
Yeah.
You can, and again, for telephone triage, they can post the questions to the patients. It's not. This is more difficult. So again, you might not get the numbers. And if you do that, it's worth having a covering letter explaining, because they're not going to get the letter till a few days after you've spoke to them on the phone.
What's the minimum number? It's 30 something, isn't it?
34. You're right. Thank you. Good prompt there. 34 for doctors.
And could they, if they're going to only get 25, again, discuss
the same? Exactly. Same sort of thing. You're getting the hang of this, sir. Yeah. So I think that hopefully that's helpful for feedback. Move on, do you think, the next section? Can I move on?
That covers the patient colleague feedback. Is there anything about the appraisal itself that locums find tricky?
I think there's probably two things that spring to my mind.
Okay.
The quality improvement activities, which we mentioned after a question last week, didn't we? So worth checking out episode 2 if you haven't already. Yeah. But I mean, of course, you've watched both of them. And
while you're at it, subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Oh,
and then you'll know about the episodes as soon as they're up. Worth doing.
So quality improvement activity, and the reason I think it's it's different for locums, and I think I'd probably go as far to say it's more difficult, controversial perhaps, but is because you're not in one place. It's much more difficult to do a sort of full audit, following up cases, as Sian mentioned.
Okay.
What I used to do is sort of make a list of say the next 10 times I prescribed antibiotics, and then sort of try and follow those up afterwards, reviewing local guidelines, see did I meet the criteria, that sort of thing. But follow up, as Sian mentioned, is quite is key. So you can ask the practice manager, do you mind if you phone back in a week or two, find out perhaps what happened with your 2-week referrals, and do an audit of that. It doesn't have to be a huge number of cases.
Right.
I've also, when I've been referring someone or admitting patients, asked the patients, do they mind if I follow up? And they always actually very pleased.
Yeah.
And they feel it shows caring.
Yeah.
Significant events are the only other thing as well, because you're not based in a practice, you might not be involved in the follow-up of a significant event. Again, that's just talking to the practice manager. If there are significant events you're involved in, could they get back in touch with you, let you know?
Yeah.
Significant event meetings, which you might again, that is maybe just worth asking a few practices. This is not for the significant event section, it's more for the quality improvement event section, which is a bit confusing, but remember the significant event definition has sort of changed in revalidation for doctors, saying that actually it's where actual harm happened. But it's still very useful for locum doctors to be able to attend significant event meetings in a practice, and asking a practice if you have a relationship with one that you go to more regularly, if you could attend one of theirs. Yeah. Again, really useful stuff for revalidation. CPR training, again, is quite difficult to get as a locum because you're not based in a practice. Okay. And most locums get around this either by sometimes LMCs or events put on locum days, and they have things like the CPR, or again, just tagging on to a practice and asking if you can join them the next time they do their annual CPR update. Definitely worth plugging the Wessex LMC's guide for locums. They've done a fantastic publication for locums that talks about locums for revalidation, the challenges, some of the stuff we've been talking about today. But the most useful, I thought, was about the quality improvement activity. They've got examples of quality improvement activities. They've got templates, so the antibiotic example I gave. They've got sort of checklists. They've even got a list of sort of what is useful for locums to take to each surgery.
Cool.
Well,
we'll put a link to that in the description on YouTube. I think we're also going to make this into a blog post on our website.
Lovely.
So we'll put a link to the Wessex guidance in the blog post. So
should we link to Sian's site as well?
Yeah. We'll link to Locum Organiser. We'll put
Nice.
We'll put a link to the blog down there. Cool.
PBS Gel is also worth another plug, probably. I think locums really benefit from small group learning. PBS Gel is practice-based small group learning. www.pbs.
They've got a good website.
They've got rather nice website, like the Wessex LMC.
Yeah.
Don't know who does them.
No, must be good.
But actually, the small group learning is really useful for locums because you get together in a small group, you can share learning. The PBS Gel is where you meet once a month, you pay a sort of annual subscription, but you get these sort of useful resources and cases to learn and go through. And it's always, we hear always positive things by people involved in it. So that's my usual going on spiel, but I hope hope that's useful. That sort of covers things. As always, questions are really useful. So if some of my ramblings have been, you want to follow up on, please do send us a question. Now, how do they send questions, Phil?
There's so many options. You can do it via our website. Of course, just contact us. Or we've got a live chat thing at the bottom. We're on all the social media things. So subscribe. Liz serving up the social media. Thank you. So subscribe to our YouTube channel and you can comment on the video. We are on Facebook, so you can like us or comment on there. Follow us on Twitter at 14fish. We're on Instagram, again 14fish, and Snapchat if you're on there. So there's loads of ways you can follow us, tweet us, whatever you want to do. Send us your questions and we'd be very happy to answer them in a future episode.
Do you know what I've realised we've forgotten to do? It's my favourite bit of the show when you go the sort of magic title thing and the title appears.
Okay, so that episode was Help for Locums.
Like it.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Brilliant.
We'll see you soon, I hope. And good luck, Andy Murray, in Wimbledon.
Yes.
Cool. See you next time. Hello, Andy. Yeah, it's going well. Yeah, we're doing the special. Yes. Yeah, we're going to mention you at the end. Yeah, cool. Okay. Just going. Cool. Yeah. Good luck later, mate. See ya. That's it. Just put one up there. And then
yeah. What the heck is that?
Okay. So you don't do it on camera, do you? If that wasn't filming, you'd have held me. Take my ball.